This is an update video to a video I posted a couple weeks ago called PlayStation 5 Pulse 3D versus Astro A40 with MixAmp. Which is better and why? First and foremost, this is one of my most wildly popular videos. Thank you guys so much for the support, the questions, the subscriptions. It blew up my channel. I think I gained over 600 subscriptions from this video alone. So first and foremost, thank you guys so much for that. I've gotten so many questions and I've done my best to answer them, but they are coming in so fast I can't. And what I thought I would do is a quick video of some of the top questions I'm seeing over and over again. You probably found this if you recently subscribed to my channel. If not, you probably saw that first video and you went ahead and clicked on the card to see where to get to this video. So that's probably one of the two ways you got here. But I want to go over some of the common questions I've been getting because I have extensively used both the Pulse 3D audios and the Astro solution, as well as my Sennheiser HD 598s, wired, unwired, in the DualSense, not in the DualSense, with the DAC, without a DAC, optical in the TV, optical in the console, audio HDMI Optical Extractor. I have tried so many different combinations of headset configurations, and I stand by what I said in that video, so go back and watch it. But a lot of questions I've been getting. One of the most common questions I'm getting is if I can please share my MixAmp settings. Yes, I have. I posted a separate video. Look for it. It's like 3 days ago where I walk through line by line how to update and how to configure an Astro A40 MixAmp setup and all of the various frequencies and the settings I use and why. There's also a really good link inside of that video to point you to a source where I kind of got my initial setup, which has a pre-configured data file you can download and push right into your MixAmp without any issue. Another question I see a lot, we got the presets, and I'm just blowing through some of these here. Thoughts on the SteelSeries. I don't own the SteelSeries Arctis 7X nor the 7P. A good friend of mine, Phil, owned the Arctis 9s for his Xbox One. He loved them. The one caveat he had, particularly with the Xbox version, was that it paired to the controller without a wireless dongle. So the Xbox actually treated it as another type of controller or connected device. It wasn't an actual USB dongle that you plug in and take out of the console. And as a result, he had a significant amount of pairing issues. It seemed that there was some sort of interference with his external hard drive. There was also some interference with his wireless controller. And though the sound quality was phenomenal, I can attest to the microphone quality sounded great because he pretty much only talked to me when we played games. It sounded phenomenal, but there was some pairing issues. My understanding is that has been resolved on the SteelSeries Arctis 7X variants and the 7P variant, but I just want to point that out. Keep that in mind. That was his experience. Obviously, as they always say, your mileage may vary. Another question I've seen a lot of, and I talked about this initially, I've gotten some conflicting information on this, but I have been able to go back and verify that if you do buy the Astro Optical HDMI splitter, the box that splits the HDMI signal and the optical signal separately, if you do buy that box and you plug it in line through your PlayStation 5 where the HDMI goes to the back of your monitor or TV, the optical goes to your MixAmp, business as usual. Does that support 120 hertz? Initially, Astro said it does not. Many have come out and said that HDMI 2.0 does actually support that standard, and I can confirm that yes, this is true. The caveat is it is only at 1080p. So if you want to enable this mode in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, you need to set your PlayStation to performance mode. You need to have, obviously, a 120 hertz capable monitor, and you need to go into the Call of Duty menu inside the game, turn off ray tracing, and then at that point, 120 hertz should be enabled. And that does work with the Astro splitter only on 1080. Now, 1080 obviously isn't just exclusive to Call of Duty, I should mention, but We're really limited right now on what 120 frame per second games we have to test, but I can confirm that with my ultra-wide gaming monitor, which does support 120 hertz, this solution does work if that's important to you. I've seen a lot of questions. This one here, the question remains, can I use my current headphones via a 3.5 millimeter jack on the controller to get the same 3D audio on the DualSense? Yes. Any 3.5 millimeter cable plugged into your DualSense or any sound device that transmits via USB, whether it's a USB dongle or a wired USB gaming headset, will work with 3D audio. Right now, those are the limitations. You can toggle 3D audio on and off, the quality of which games have a different, which ones sound better or worse than 3D audio. I talk a lot about in the video, so go back and watch my thoughts on that. I will say this though, subjectively, which one sounds better? Do the Sennheisers sound better wired? Do the Astro A40s without the MixAmp sound better wired? Do the Pulses sound better wired? That's kind of a preference. Keep in mind there's a couple things to consider. Number one, the DualSense drives a 50 ohm impedance. Number two, the DualSense doesn't care, obviously, what controller or what kind of headphones you have, but your ears do. And you may like open back, which Sennheisers are, where the sound bleeds out much more. You may like closed back, where the back is closed. Obviously, the sound reflects back in. These obviously have much more, I wouldn't say active noise cancellation, but they do have more noise cancellation because of the thicker pads on the side, as opposed to the Sennheisers and the Astros, which have a cloth cup that wraps around your ear. This one has this kind of faux leather material, which one, gets hotter, but two, also protects your ears from more external sound. So in terms of which one sounds better, that is a total choice up to you guys. The key is one, the open and close back, and two, as I mentioned, the DualSense drives a 50 ohm impedance. So if you're using headphones that demand a little bit more power, you may be disappointed because the DualSense isn't going to be able to power them. Some of your more high performance headphones that you see online, the ones that cost megabucks, that typically do not include a gaming headset, that are typically just earphones only, typically are in a higher impedance range. The DualSense will not power them correctly. Doesn't mean they won't work. They're just going to not sound as good as they should because they need a little more oomph. Those are the ones you definitely would want a DAC for. Okay. So I hope that clears up that question. You mentioned that you want, and I did talk about the Pulse already. I think a lot of people agree with me that it's probably best to wait right now. I'm going to talk about the Audeze Penrose here in a second, but I want to make sure I answered some of the ones that I've seen float to the top, some of the ones with more comments. And I think I've done most. I think those are the big ones there that I've answered. So let's go ahead and talk about the Audezes for a few minutes. The Penrose. I've done a lot of research on these, and I have decided that if you are going to buy a set of performance gaming headphones, these are probably the ones you're going to want to get. They support 100 millimeter nano drivers. They are wireless with the 2.4 gigahertz band. They also simultaneously support Bluetooth. So if you're somebody like me who uses TeamSpeak on your phone to talk to your friends while you're on your PlayStation playing other games, that's going to work great for you. You could also stream music from your phone to your earphones with game audio coming in at the same time. There were some issues with the Penrose, particularly with some of the audio settings early on. People said there was a whooshing sound or a high noise plane. These have both been fixed via a firmware update, which will go live very, very soon. There's been some concern over how to access equalizer settings. Right now, it is only available on Windows-based PCs. There are some Macintosh and iPhone users who are a little disappointed, and that is definitely something that Audeze has not quite updated on their site, so beware of that. But most people probably aren't going to mess with their equalizer settings too much. However, if you want to, or you want to update your headphones or any of that stuff, you will need a Windows-based PC to do it. In terms of the microphone with the Audeze Penrose, there's a lot of questions on that. regarding, hey, the microphone's not working. And it was as simple as people not taking the pop filter off, and they were talking into it the wrong way. There is actually a front and a back. Shure has engineered this. I looked at the waveforms on the Hi-Fi website, or Head-Fi website rather. I went through and read all of the reviews. I saw the graphs of how the noise gates work from the front, from the back, from the side. And the people who are having significant issues, the ones that sounded muffled or underwater, had their microphones pointing the wrong way. And I can't fault Audeze for that if people don't know how to talk into the microphone. If I turned my Blue Yeti 180 degrees the wrong way, I would sound even worse than I do right now. Okay? So I think that portion has been fixed. The only thing that still is up in the air on the Audeze, and I've seen many mixed reports, I don't have them yet. I will most likely be buying a pair soon, though. I will do a full review when I do. The biggest thing I've seen with the Audeze, though, concern that's still a little worrisome is the range. A lot of people have reported less than optimal range. Some people said it cuts out at greater than 4 to 5 feet, which is unacceptable. Some people said they're getting 30 feet. It's hard to say. I think it's going to depend a lot on your Wi-Fi in terms of your home, how much Wi-Fi you have going around, whether you are currently and actively using the 2.4 gigahertz band or the 5 gigahertz band. But everything else seems to be really, really good about those. So a lot of people asking, like, what is your recommendation? You know, what if I really want the high-end thing? Well, really right now your choices are limited to the Audeze Penrose or the SteelSeries 7X/7P, depending on your console. But I will say that from everything I've read and everything I understand about audio engineering in terms of driver sizes, in terms of how planar headphones work, in terms of just overall cup size and depth and field, it seems to me the Audeze Penrose is probably going to be the one you want to get. But as I did say in my original video, keep in mind we are very early on in this generation, less than a month from when the Xbox Series S and X and PlayStation 5 launched. Companies like Astro and Turtle Beach and to some extent SteelSeries are still coming to terms with a post non-optical port universe. You haven't seen Bose, you haven't seen Sennheiser, you haven't seen Hi-Fi Man. There's a lot of companies out there that are going to be making these devices that haven't quite gotten around to it yet. So if you can wait and you're okay with your old headphones, I still maintain that's probably not a bad solution. As I've said in my video many times, these are absolutely serviceable. They're fine. They're not the best headphones I ever had, but they sound pretty darn good on very particular circumstances. So with that, I hope I answered all the questions. I went through some of those kind of frequently asked ones I saw in my previous videos. And I wanted to throw in the my light endorsement, I should say, for Audeze, because I've been getting a lot of questions about what should I do. So there you have it. I hope I've put this topic to bed. I thought I did on the last video, but I do appreciate the support. If there are any other questions or comments you have for me, please feel free to leave a comment below. I do my best to answer each and every one of you guys. I really do. There's just so many. It became a full-time job and I already got one of those. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys found some of this information informative. Throw me a yay if you did, a boo if you didn't. It's up to you. I'll still be here making more videos next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.